In today's episode of GL Rustic Design, we're going to be working on a kitchen island with sliding barn doors for the front and 4 drawers. So the first thing that you need to do is you have to cut the sides, the actual base of the kitchen island, and I've tried to link all the measurements in the description below, along with the knobs I use, the drawer slides I use, the pocket jig, and a few other items that I use or ordered. So like I said, the first step is you got to cut both sides and then the back. I used 1x10s for this whole process. You could always use plywood or MDF or whatever you have in your area. It just so happens to be that in my area, 1x10s are much cheaper. So I use pocket holes to join those together. And once you get the back assembled, you'll need to lay each side down on the corners. First, trace off. I just traced off 3/4 of an inch for the trim that's going to go on the outside. I put one of the sides on using pocket holes, and then I'll put the other side on using pocket holes as well. And then once you get this step complete, is when you cut your trim next. I use 1x4s here. I actually used 1x8s and I rip them in half, or run them through the table saw at 3.5 inches too. It's just, I say, ultimately comes out cheaper for me like that. Use pocket holes to join the trim pieces, and then I use an inch and a quarter torque head screws to join the trim pieces to the outside of the kitchen island. Just a simple clamp, 4 screws here, 1 on each corner. So you'll have 8 screws total for 4 on this side, 4 on the other side. And once you get this step done, then it will be time to move on to the actual I use a 2x4 base frame. You'll see in the video that I put a frame at the 2x4 at the top and 2x4 at the bottom. So here, drilling the holes for the 3-inch screws to go in, for the 2x4s to make a rectangular frame. In the video, I end up cutting, like I said, top and bottom, which I later came back and removed the top because it was throwing my my drawer slides out of square. So I took the top out and I just put corner pieces in to get all those square. Which I guess you could always go back and put corner pieces in these 2x4s as well. But like I said, making sure that the middle is square along with the sides. And then you'll set this in the bottom. I use 2.5-inch screws to assemble those in whenever you get to the bottom. And then once you get that done, like I said, slide it into the bottom, whichever one you decide for the bottom is. Drill the 2.5-inch screws in. I guess it really don't matter how many, as long as you have 3 in the long side, 2 in each of the sides. It should hold pretty good. So once you get that step done, my next step was to assemble the face. Like I said, I'm putting 2 drawers. It's 4 openings total. 2 drawers on each of the outsides, and then the 2 openings will just have a shelf in the middle. All these were cut at the trim pieces were 2 inches long, or 2 inches wide. If you want your island bigger, this island was 5 foot long, so it was rather on the small side. But if you need your island bigger, you can always increase the width of these pieces. Of course, I join those with pocket holes again, making sure that everything's even, everything's lined up as you go through this process. And then when you flip that over and you attach the 2x4 frame, you use some 2.5-inch screws from the back side to attach the face onto the 2x4 frame. So the next step for me was to, I was putting in all the drawers along with the bottom shelf, middle shelf sides. So I just cut it the width of from the outside to the outside there, which I said the majority of the measurements are in the description below. It was just way too much to try to keep up with and talk. Like I said, I'm pretty much just making an open, squaring it off. Here, I guess if I had to do this over again, I would use, I would cut me some 1.5 to 2 inch little small pieces that the drawer slide would go on, instead of putting the slide on these pieces, and I would have moved it in to accommodate that. Same here. How I put these little small pieces here, I would have ran those across the joiner and made those flush with the front, with the face of the kitchen island. Like I said, first time I've ever built this, so I've most definitely learned a few things I do differently, and just general technique. I said here, doing the drawers, mark it off 1.5 inches so that the whole drawer can slide in. I also have a drawer video, just how I simply do my drawers. A lot of people do them differently. I don't know why I do them the way I do, but that's just the way I've always done them. It seems easiest to me, so like I said here, I'll link the drawer slides, order them from Amazon. So I like doing the sides first, and then I come in and do the bottom, the front and the back, all pocket holes, and then each time measure the distance that you need, and then the face of each drawer. This is the trim that goes around it. To measure, you'll need a small piece behind a back piece of the trim. So it's going to be about 1.5 inches thick. So that's why we measure the distance off 1.5 inches. So, and then moving forward to the barn doors, once you get all of those other doors assembled, just quickly, it's just the X style barn door. It's really nothing, nothing too extravagant, but as you can see here, I'm just doing the outside trim, laying a piece across, drawing with a pen the marks I need, pocket holes there. Do the same thing on the other side. And while we have a second, if you've made it this long on my video, please like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. And I appreciate all the ones who have liked and subscribed. And we're officially starting my house build this week, my new shop. So I'm super excited. I will have tons of videos with the shop, the house, and so on. So, a lot of good things to look forward to in 2021 for us. Once you complete the door, it's just 4 simple 1.25 inch screws in the back. I will link the barn rail video in the description below as well. It was the last video I done on my channel, which I don't cover that topic in this video. Just a simple video of of how I distress each one of my furnitures. I used to stain the whole thing brown and then I'd go back and paint it, but I just kind of touch the corners and a few spots here and there that I know I'm going to cover brown. As you can see in the behind me, you see the white distress part. The top of this is actually maple. The customer brought me the wood. It was very not flat, so I used my joiner. It was 5 or 6 hour process, but we finally got it flat. They wanted a live edge on the front and the back, so that's what I did for them. I had to plane everything down as well. I said run across the joiner, the edges, and then I had to flatten each piece, plane each piece, pocket holes and glue for the top. Lots of sanding, 40 grit all the way down to 300 grit. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Here's just a short clip of the actual kitchen island when I had got it finished. So y'all enjoy, and thank you for watching my video.